Hi, my name is Chloe, and this is a video about why I think people don't like me. And hearing that, you might be thinking it's because I'm like this and I complain all the time, but it's not. I promise I'm very positive around my friends. This is just more of like an analysis on everything why I think people have never really liked me. And just to preface, I will be using the word neurodivergent as more of an umbrella term because I have autism. I do not have ADHD, so if you clicked on this hoping I might be talking about things related to ADHD that you might relate to, I'm sorry. Okay, so I don't really know. Ever since I was younger, just people have not necessarily known I was autistic because I didn't even know when I was younger and no one knew. But I feel like they've always sensed that something was off about me. I don't know what it is. I feel like I act pretty normal, and I tell people I'm autistic. They're like, "Really? You seem so normal." Well, thanks, I guess, but people can tell very easily. And there are a lot of studies done that neurotypical people they don't necessarily know that they're autistic, but they usually can easily find the autistic person in a group because they don't like them when they first meet them. There's just something off about them, and their brain doesn't like them, and they say, I just didn't really like the vibes of this person, but it's just because they're autistic, and there have been many studies done on that. So, I guess I didn't really have a fair shot in the first place, but it's just a little bit unfortunate knowing that I don't get a fair chance at making friends just because people automatically might not want to be my friend. I've tried making friends a lot. There's a lot of people I want to be friends with, and it just never really has worked out. I really try and pursue these friendships, but nobody really ever seems interested. And then the friendships I do have, they always, not always, but they end up disappointing me sometimes because I put so much effort into them, to the point where I would genuinely take a bullet for anyone I've ever been friends with, even if I'm not friends with them anymore. And I feel like no one would do that for me. No one is putting this amount of love and effort and everything that I have into these friendships. I think maybe another thing is that maybe they don't like me is because maybe my voice is weird, or maybe I don't have the right expressions. I don't naturally really make facial expressions. Especially when I was younger, when I was told to smile, and even actually still now, I don't really know how to smile. I don't know how to smile and make it look natural. So I have these very animated facial expressions. I've actually been told that I look like a bird. I've been told that I look like a bird, or I look like a cartoon character, or I've been told I look very animated when I'm trying to express whatever emotion I'm trying to express, you know? So I don't really know, maybe that's a reason. It is difficult to pinpoint an exact thing. This is a family photo from when I was younger. You can clearly see that that's not a nice smile, and that I'm going, because I really don't I don't know how to smile. It just doesn't look natural on me. So that could be it. In elementary school, I necessarily that I had no friends. I definitely had friends, and I had a lot of friends, but no one really wanted to hang out with me, or at least that's what it kind of seemed like to me. Up until 4th or 5th grade, I didn't really have a solid group of people that I'd want to hang out with every day. I would just kind of hop from friend group to friend group because I just didn't really have a place. And I don't know if I necessarily really realized it as much back then, but looking back, people were not very nice to me. People said a lot of bad things about me, and I just thought that they were like being funny, but it wasn't very funny. The only time I remember actually like definitely getting bullied was I think maybe in 4th or 5th grade when this kid came up behind me and punched me in the back. I still don't know why he did that. But that's all right. And then I mean another thing is that like I'm not very smart. Like I don't have the type of autism where I'm like super good at math and I know a bunch of things. Sorry if that's stereotypical, it probably is, but I don't have like the smart autism. I have like the really stupid autism where like I'm just okay enough to the point where I don't need to be in special education, but I'm not good at anything I do. I don't get any help with anything, but I'm still not good at it and I barely pass. And I've never really had any talents. I've just kind of like existed and like I've tried different things. Like I did swimming for like 10 years, but I was never very good at it. I just kind of like doing it. Um, I don't have any talents. Nobody has really ever said that I was like fun or pretty or interesting or smart or beautiful or like anything positive. One compliment that I've actually heard before is that I was funny. But what I found is that that only works if you're with people that don't consider themselves super funny, which I learned when I was kind of friends with this girl who's really, really funny, and no hate to funny people. I love when people are funny. But, and so when I was funny, it just didn't work. So then I really didn't have any good, like, character traits to, like, give her, like, there was really nothing about me that she would want, like, that appealed because now I wasn't even funny because she was the funny one. And so, you know, it's just difficult, like, knowing that, like, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, like, I will just never be, like, a normal person. I don't have good sense of style. Um, I feel like I'm kind of lazy. I'm not a very, like, interesting person. At least I don't think so. Um, I try and be like really enthusiastic and funny and fun and exciting and like empathetic and all of these good things around my friends. And I guess that kind of works, but that only works when I'm like already friends with them. And I genuinely, I don't know how to make friends. I don't know how I've gotten any friends. Like, I feel like they have to start making friends with me because there's been several people where I have genuinely tried so hard. I have worked harder on this than anything in my life to become friends with them. And they acted like they liked me and they talked to me and they did all these things that showed like they want to be friends with me, but they didn't want to be friends with me. So and it's not like, oh no, there's that autistic kid coming up to talk to you again. No, like I'm not that unaware socially. Like I can tell when someone doesn't want to talk to me. In fact, I think people don't want to talk to me quite frequently, and I just don't talk to them. And I'm usually right, and they usually don't want to talk to me. But these people, they had zero cues that they did not want to talk to me, okay? I promise. And, they still didn't like me. And this didn't just happen once. Like, not everyone's gonna like me, and that's okay. But it seems like an excessive amount of people don't like me and are annoyed by me. Like, just, it is just incredible. Like, if you really, like, look around while you're speaking and to see other people going, because they think you're the stupidest person to ever exist. And maybe I am, but something else that I'm learning is that people can't make me happy. I have to create my own happiness. People can't make me happy. I have to create my own happiness. And I can't do that if all I'm doing is focusing on why all these people hate me. because I've tried to change my personality. I've tried to change things about myself, and they still don't like me. And that just goes back to the study where neurotypical people, they just don't like autistic people. They think something's like wrong with them. Like they don't mean to think that, but genuinely something like deep down in like their instincts and their brain think that there's something uncanny about this person and that there's something like wrong with them and they don't like them. And it's difficult when I they can't get past that because yeah, maybe I look a little like funny, but I'm really nice. Like I would do anything for you. My friends that I'm actually friends with say that I'm one of the nicest people that they've ever met. They say that they're grateful for me, and I promise I could be a really good friend to you if you want to be friends with me and get past the fact that there might be something weird with me. Yeah. And then so I think that middle school was probably worse for me because I was even more blissfully unaware that everyone fucking hated me. And at this point, I was so weird. Like, even now, looking back, like, there was something, like, weird going on with me. Um, I just acted so, like, I don't even know. Like, I guess I stopped masking or something. No, not even or something. That's exactly what I did. I stopped masking and I was just a little bit too weird and nobody wanted to be friends with me. And I had like maybe two friends in 8th grade and I remember like sitting on the bench during lunch when they weren't there and just like crying, sitting there by myself crying in front of whoever walked by because I was just so lonely and I was hoping maybe someone would sit down. Yes, this was very attention seekery. I see that now. Thank you. Um, it was just like I was so lonely. I was hoping that someone would come and sit with me and talk to me, but they never did. I'm not sure that I would do that either. So no hate actually on that one. That was all me. That was my bad. Um, in um in high school, um, I mean the first year and a half, I was struggling with a lot of like alcohol abuse issues. So I don't really remember what happened, but something that I found about alcohol is that it made me so normal, or at least it made me feel so normal. I don't know how normal I was acting, but like instead of making me like drunk, it made me neurotypical. And so I could like talk to people. And I remember freshman year, there were like days or like weeks where like I would try not to drink and I would just be sitting in class like genuinely tweaking out first of all. And then I remember there was this one day where I was sober that day, probably withdrawing from the amount of alcohol I had been drinking, but I was so nervous to get up and get a piece of paper like everyone else was doing. I sat at my desk and I cried for the entire hour left of class. I had a friend next to me. I could have asked her to get me a paper, but I didn't. Instead, I just secretly cried and didn't do my work. So, that was probably not good. I do know that I did a lot of crying in class freshman and sophomore year, so I don't blame people for not wanting to be friends with me then, actually. That one makes sense. Um, that one makes complete sense, and I don't blame you at all for that one. I was very awful and weird. I wasn't mean or anything, I was just really depressed. And then sophomore year, like a few months in, I went to the hospital or like the psych ward for alcohol related issues, and there was an incident. But anyway, and then when I got back, I was friends with this girl for a few months, and then I overheard her telling our French teacher like, oh, I have no friends and no one wants to eat lunch with me, and I felt so bad. And so I texted her because we were already friends. We would go to the beach every Friday at that point. I texted her and I was like, hey, like, if you ever want to like hang out during lunch, like I think you're super cool. Like I'd be so down. And then she read it and she never answered. And then she didn't speak to me for a week. But I sat next to her in chemistry, and so when we were doing partner work, she would just turn to the other person next to her, and I'd be like just by myself. And so I gained up the courage to ask her, "Are you mad at me?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, did I do something wrong?" And she said, "No." And then I was like, "Well, why aren't you talking to me?" And at this point, I started crying. And she said, and I quote, or at least, actually, I don't know if this is an exact quote, but I kind of quote, "I'm talking to you right now, aren't I?" And then she never spoke to me again. So I actually have no idea what went wrong on that one. And she didn't know about the psych ward thing, so it wasn't that. At least I hope not. So that one, I don't really know what happened. It was either because I was so sad about that or because I'm just really dumb. I ended up failing chemistry. Like, that was the first and only class I ever failed. It was in chemistry. I don't remember if I forgot to say that. But that was the class with that girl. And then like I said earlier, I was on the swim team for most of my life, and I was on our school swim team at my high school for all 4 years that I went there. I just graduated. And ever since I was a freshman, I had a lot of prior swimming experience, so I was on varsity already, and I was supposed to be like on like a certain side of the pool where like the varsity swimmers swim. But they were so mean to me, or at least it's not even that they were like literally mean to me, like they weren't like saying things about me or bullying me. It's just that I would go over to be in their lane and they would go at me, and I feel rejection so strongly. Like, I can feel it within every fiber of my being, and it just made me so sad. And this one's probably an overreaction, and so I just couldn't swim over there, and I tried every year, especially this last year. Like, you'd think I'd be able to go over there with a bunch of like sophomores and juniors who would never actually like say something mean to me, but it was just like the looks that they gave when I was supposed to be in their lane, that I just couldn't do it. And so I tried to sometimes, but they would never talk to me, and I just felt so left out. And I just couldn't do it. It was just too depressing. So yeah, even as a senior in high school, I can't get over it, and I can't just swim in the stupid lane because I'm worried that they probably secretly don't like me, even though they're acting like they don't. And I don't know. I've always just felt very like rejected, and I've always felt like an outsider. And I don't know what to do about this because I've tried changing lots of things about my personality. And I would like to reiterate that I'm not usually this like depressing and like woe is me and whatever. When I talk to my friends, I don't tell them about all of these things because it's not their responsibility to deal with my weirdness and my autisticness. That's my problem. So I don't know. That's just my rant about why I think people don't like me, and like less specifically why people don't like autistic people.